Welcome to the Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kauna-unahang lingguhang talakayan ng mga bagong balita at batas ukol sa Australian Migration Law and Process. Tuwing Miyerkules 6 to 6:30 ng gabi mula sa AUSPAC VISA. AUSPAC VISA is a trusted Australian migration agency for Filipinos all over the world. AUSPAC VISA is the home for all Filipino professionals, skilled workers, partners, families, students, graduates, and trainees who want to visit, live, work, and permanently stay in Australia. Makipanayam dito sa Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kalahating oras na talakayan ng mga balita, batas, proseso, at mga isyung tungkol sa pag-a-apply ng Australian visa. Kasama niyo po si Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer at Registered Migration Agent mula sa AUSPAC Visa sa Brisbane, Australia. Paalala lang po na ang mga talakayan at mga impormasyong mababanggit sa programang ito ay sa pawang mga impormasyon lamang at hindi payong legal at hindi rin at walang kinalaman sa mga personal at natatanging sitwasyon ng mga nanonood at nakikinig. Ang Australian Immigration Law ay madalas na nagbabago kung kaya't makabubuti na ugaliing magsayasat at humingi ng payong akma sa inyong pansariling pangangailangan. At ngayon, live mula sa Brisbane, Australia, ang inyong host at tagapagtalakay ng mga balita, issue, batas at proseso na nauukol sa Australian Migration and Visa Application, Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer, and Registered Migration Agent from AUSPAC Visa.
Hi, good evening everyone. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Nandito po muli kami, Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, mula sa AUSPAC Visa, dito po sa Brisbane. Maganda ang panahon namin ngayon sa Brisbane, maliwanag kami ngayon. Di kagaya last week, medyo madilim last week, no? So ngayon maganda, maliwanag pa, alas 6 ng hapon, ng gabi, pero parang alas 2 ng tanghali ito. Ganito po sa Brisbane, medyo paminsan-minsan ay napakaliwanag tapos biglang didilim. Pero unlike sa Melbourne, medyo maganda yung aming klima dito sa Brisbane. Kasi sabi nga nila, 'di ba, sa Melbourne 4 seasons, no, in one day, no, 4 seasons in one day. So 4 seasons can happen in one day. Kaya sa umaga, nandiyan ang autumn nila, maya-maya summer, andyan na yung tapos winter, and then ganun pa bago-bago. Kaya sabi nila yung mga taga Melbourne, excuse me ha, sa mga taga Melbourne, sabi nila sa Melbourne may mga paltik daw yung mga taga Melbourne gawa daw nung klima nilang pabago-bago. Kaya in a day, they also do not know what to wear kasi biglang lalamig, biglang iinit, so they must be ready in any change in the weather during the day. But anyway, so magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Malapit na pong magpasko at alam namin na marami sa inyo yung malapit na ring magbakasyon. So enjoy your holiday for this year. Marami ng pagbabago, hindi kagaya last year, no? Medyo may kaunti na tayong freedom to go out, to be with friends, to spend time with our families. Especially yung mga galing sa overseas o interstate o kung saan man. Okay, good evening. May mga pagbati tayo dito, no. Katrina Porsyongkula, andito ulit sila. Good afternoon daw. Magandang hapon, Katrina. Ikaw pala ay kamag-anak ng aking kaibigan si Adi, no. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. And then Lector Lauren, magandang hapon po, attorney. Magandang hapon, Lector. And Nel Sigod, good afternoon. And medyo makulimlim sa Doncaster, attorney. Okay. Kayo naman yung makulimlim ngayon dyan. So kami ngayon maliwanag kami ngayon, no? Parang may buwan ang araw. Okay, so our topic for today. I don't know if this is of interest to most of you. Pero doon sa mga may ganitong klaseng relasyon na hindi alam pwede ba o hindi ba pwede, I think this is very important for them. Yung how to prove a de facto relationship in Australian visa applications, no? Actually, some people say na yung de facto relationship is only relevant to partner visa application. But in reality, it is relevant to all visa applications kung saan meron kayong kapartner. Kasi kung halimbawa sa skilled migration, di ba last week I discussed the points that you can claim, and part of that is the partner skills points, no? Wherein kung wala kang partner, mataas yung points mo, so you get 10 points. Pero kung may partner ka, tapos makakakuha ng competent English, you get 5 points. And then another thing is kung makakakuha naman ng skills assessment, then you get the 10 points. So this type of relationship became relevant, especially dun sa pag-change ng point system sa skilled migration. Kasi yung iba, ayaw ko munang mag-asawa, sabi nila, no? Kasi mawawala yung claim nila ng 10 points. Pero, ang pag-aasawa na pinag-uusapan natin ay hindi lang yung marital relationship, hindi lang yung kasal kayo. Kasi kung kayo ay nag-live-in, that's de facto relationship. Which means to say that you cannot claim for 10 points anymore. So hindi ka na eligible because you have a partner. So that can be considered a de facto relationship. Now, doon naman sa mga partner visa, importante rin yun, no? Kasi there are two different streams sa partner visa. You can either go spousal relationship o kaya naman is de facto relationship. Sa spousal relationship, there's a little bit of distinction there. And they say na, if you go the spousal pathway, it's a little bit easier because the only thing that you need to do is to present your marriage certificate, no? But other than that, of course, you will have to prove that you are really living as husband and wife. Pero it could be a little bit easier. Pero dun sa kabilang pathway, which is a de facto partnership, you will have to meet the 12 months of living together. Because that's the requirement of the law. Ibig sabihin, yung cohabitation, so that you live together in one roof and you relate to each other just like, husband and wife, or wife-wife, or husband-husband, because pwede naman yung same-sex relationship ngayon, no? So, that's why when you make a claim for a de facto relationship, because there's a 12 months requirements of living together, the dates of you living together in actual is very important. Okay, so tatandaan nyo yan. Yung iba, dahil nga kulang sa formality yung mga de facto relationship nila, nakakalimutan kung kailan ba talaga sila nagsimulang magsama. No? Kasi minsan nag-date, doon na tumira, nakakalimutan nila yung mga ganong transition. But in a de facto partnership, that's one thing that you really need to pinpoint. Kailan tayo nagsimulang nagsama at nagkasundo na, okay, I'm moving in. I'm going to leave my other place because I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to live with you. So it's very important. Kasi that will be the reckoning time. That will be the reckoning date. Kasi you have to meet the 12 months requirement of living together. So, kailan nagsimula? At pag nag-apply kayo ng visa, nakumpleto nyo na ba yung 12 months? So, let's say for example, okay, we started living together December 1, 2021. Then, if you're going to do the 12 months relationship requirement, then you can be eligible to lodge a visa application for partner visa on December 1, 2022 because you completed the 12 months, okay, of living together. Okay. Now, there are also some issues or there's some situations na, okay, bakit yung iba? Hindi naman sila nagsama ng 12 months and yet they're able to proceed with partner visa application. They were able to apply for partner visa application. Okay, that can happen because there's a certain waiver when you claim for de facto relationship. Now, the waiver or the way to go around that is to register your relationship. Okay? So when I say register your relationship, it can happen in Australia. Okay? Wala tayong registration of relationship sa Philippines, ha? Wala tayong ganyan. But in Australia, there is. We call that as civil union. Okay? So kapag halimbawa, nagsama kayong 3 months and you don't have any impediment to actually form a legal relationship with someone, then you can register the relationship. So even if you only live for 3 months, you can proceed to making an application for a partner visa. So that's part of the law in in migration law, in migration regulation. So you can find that regulation 2.03A5, which actually gives exemption by the virtue of that particular regulations. Basta na-register niyo yung inyong relationship. Okay? Now, registration of relationship, just be careful, okay? Because not all people can register the relationship just because they want to register the relationship. Sabi ko kanina, there must be no impediment in either of the parties involved. Okay, so meaning to say, kung kasal ka sa iba, nagsama kayo, hindi mo pwedeng i-register yung relationship mo kasi hindi ka pwedeng pumasok sa panibagong relationship nang hindi pa tapos yung dating relationship. Okay, pero kung halimbawang nakisama ka sa iba o sa partner mo ng 12 months, then you can approach partner visa application. You get the difference between the two? So medyo ano yun, no? May kaunting technicalities, but of course, the law is open. The law is very generous to accommodate all different situations, no? Basta ang importante, wala kang kompromiso o hindi ka married dun sa kabila tapos nagre-register ka ng iyong relationship here. Kung ikaw ay married, you cannot do a civil union, but you can complete the 12 months of de facto relationship. Okay, now in the Philippines, marami na rin yung ganito yung sitwasyon no? Dati hindi pwede. Nung mga naunang panahon, no? Hindi pwede kasi sabi nila wala namang de facto relationship sa Philippines. Mainly because hindi pinapayagan, no? Pero ngayon marami na, no? Maraming nagli-live-in without the benefit of marriage, and they can approach that kind of claims, no? Pero hindi ko sinasabing yung partner nyo nandito tapos nandun sa kabila yung isa, no? Hindi yan. But this is more relevant dun sa mga nag-a-apply ng student visa, no? Kasi yung mga gusto mag-apply ng student visa tas may partner na sila, naka-live-in nila, hindi kinasal, they usually are advised by education agents, hindi mo pwedeng isama kasi hindi pa kayo kasal or things like that. But if you can prove that you live together, you completed the 12 months of cohabitation, yes, that will be considered as partnership. And therefore, you can bring your partner. Yung iba iniiwan nila, tapos pag nakarating ng Australia, sa kanila sasabihin, hindi, matagal na kaming nag-live-in. That's a problem. Because magkakaroon ka ng misleading information to the immigration. So, kung mayroon kang partner at the time na nag-apply ka ng student visa, and you think you met, and you have the evidence to prove that you were together for 12 months prior to making an application, then you might as well declare it. At kung meron din naman kayong future plans na magsasama naman din talaga kayo. Kasi pag naaprubahan yung student visa ng isa, tapos saka mo sasabihin na, ay, may partner pala ako, that's a problem. Because immigration can cancel your own visa. Not just refuse the visa that you're applying for, but to cancel the visa that you're holding because you have declared something that was incorrect. So in other words, you misled the immigration para lang makuha yung visa mo. Okay? So if you have some questions about the facto relationship, you can just go ahead and put your questions in the comments section, and then I will read it later on. Now, ano ba yung sabi dito? Bakit kailangan ng bakit may de facto relationship na kinikilala ang batas ng Australia? You will have to realize here na yung de facto relationship is actually a good system. It is embedded in the laws in Australia in order to give equal treatment not only for the male-female sort of relationship, but also to give equal treatment of same-sex relationship. So in other words, with de facto relationship, the law can accommodate now other types of relationship like yung same-sex. Na dati hindi, na-discriminate sila because, they belong to the same sex but the relationship was there, it's truly genuine, and they've been together for 5 years or so, pero lagi silang nadi-discriminate kasi hindi na-accommodate ng batas. So with this thing, yeah, so same-sex relationship can actually claim for de facto relationship without the benefit of marriage, kasi yung iba nga hindi nga pwedeng ikasal, no? I think sa Philippines hindi pa ginagawa yung pagkakasal sa same-sex relationship. And another reason why this is out now, it's because may mga sistema na hindi nagkakaroon ng equal recognition yung mga spousal and de facto relationship, no? Especially in terms of children benefit and in terms of social benefits. So minsan mas pinapaboran yung marital relationship kaysa doon sa de facto relationship lang. And there were also times before na yung mga anak ng mga de facto relationship parang na-disadvantage sila just because their parents were not married. So now that is discouraged now, and they do have receive equal recognition for spousal relationship and de facto relationship. Now, ano yung dinidefine ng de facto relationship, no? So, unang-una pag sinabi mong naka-de facto relationship ka, I'm looking at the questions, no? So, if you have questions, just keep going, and then I will answer the questions. Okay, so ano yung dinidefine? What is being defined by a de facto partner or a de facto relationship? So first, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, it is recognizing that the relationship can exist between partners na of the same sex. So, hindi sila nadi-discriminate sa ganitong issue. They can apply, they can approach any visa application if it allows for a family relationship or visa application, or even the secondary or dependent visa application. Yeah, they will be accommodated by the law. And then also, when you say you're de facto relationship or you are a de facto partner, ibig sabihin you're not married to each other too. Okay? So baka sabihin, married kami ngayon, tapos ngayon de facto kami. No. If you're married, then you're married. Nandun ka na sa kabilang part, sa kabilang category. Wala ka na dun sa de facto category. So, but it doesn't mean to say that when you're married to someone, you cannot have a de facto relationship to another person. So, get the difference? So, married ka, pero pwede ka magkaroon ng de facto relationship sa ibang tao. So, sa mga, ano ba yun? Sa mga marites ba yun? Marites at marisol, iba tawag nila dyan, no? Hindi ganun ka-clean, no? Hindi ganun ka-decente. Ang tawag nila dyan, yung mga kabit, ika nga. Oo. So, kung ikaw ay kabit and you're maintaining, you're living together as husband and wife, so, baka pwede, no? That can happen, no? Or especially kapag halimbawa nandun sa malayo na, nasa Philippines yung asawa mo, tapos nandito ka sa Australia, and you met someone, you live together and for 12 months or so, then that could be a de facto relationship. Okay? So, and then what else? How do we define a de facto relationship? So, if there's a mutual commitment to a shared life to the exclusion of all others. Okay, so that's very important. So mutual commitment. So doesn't mean to say na yung mutual commitment makikita lang do sa marital or spousal relationship, but it has to be also present in a de facto relationship. And it's a shared life to the exclusion of all others. Meaning to say, walang ibang kapartido, no? Hindi kayo nag-share. So, exclusive lang sa inyong dalawa yung relationship na hindi yan open relationship. So, it's a close and exclusive relationship. And that will also require the couple to be living together. No? Or if they are separated from each other, then yung separation nila must not be permanent. So, it is only on a temporary basis. Okay? So, halimbawa nagtatrabaho o OFW yung isa, o kaya kailangan magtrabaho siya, kaya nandoon siya, but you're still partner. So, mag-asawa pa rin kayo. So, temporary lang. no? And then ikaw pa rin yung minemaintain na lugar na residence na ano mo na kayo talaga ay mag-asawa. And then what else? So dapat nandiyan yung dapat hindi kayo magkamag-anak. Importante 'yun. So hindi kayo magkamag-anak to a certain degree. And also with the factor relationship, it's very important that you can prove that the relationship is genuine and continuing. Okay. So with the proof of genuine and continuing relationship, you will have to prove, although this is not mandatory, this is not a must, but it will be good in your application if you can put evidence that can be considered by the case officer, ranging from one, the financial relationship to each other. So, pinagsasamahan nyo yung pera nyong dalawa, no? Pinagdidesisyonan nyo, and usually can be done by having a joint account. Or kung meron kayong mga financial commitments, yung mga loans na kinuha, so okay din kung nasa dalawang pangalan. And also, kung may mga financial decisions kayong ginagawa, do you consult each other? So, it's good. So, that's one aspect of relationship or de facto relationship. So, financial aspect of it. Now, the second is the household aspect. So, meaning to say, you will have to show that you belong to the same household. So, meron kayong partition of labor sa bahay. Sinong naghuhugas ng pinggan? Sinong nagluluto? What's the arrangement inside the house? Sometimes this is not easy to prove to the case officer kasi hindi naman nila kayo bibisitahin dun sa loob ng bahay nyo para lang makita kung sinong nagluluto, sinong naghugas ng pinggan or things like that. And this is where the statement from your friends, from your relatives would come in on how they see you inside the house. No? In some cases, you can also provide some pictures or video. Say, for example, nagluluto dyan. But videos are being discouraged because it will take a lot of time from the case officer. So maybe pictures, but it has to be genuine. So that household, that is part of it. And then yung social aspect ng inyong relationship, no? With the social aspect, you will have to show that you are known by at least by circle of friends or by the community, by the neighborhood. Nakikita nila kayo visible together all the time. In Facebook, no? Case officers are actually looking at the Facebook, ha. So ingat kayo sa mga pinopost nyo, ha. Baka mamaya sikreto yung inyong Facebook. Pag sinikreto nyo yung Facebook nyo tapos you're in a relationship, may ibig sabihin yan. But there must be some public affirmation of your relationship, no? So yung iba nilalagay nila in a relationship. So that's a date na naumpisahan yung relationship nila. And then you see them together in Facebook. But don't overdo it, no? Baka hindi na totoo yan pagka sobrang dami na. just to prove something, no? That means you can't convince yourself that you are in a relationship. That's why you have to prove and convince other people. So yung normal lang. Okay. And then the last one will be your commitment to each other. Okay. Meaning to say, what's your future plans? What's going on? How deep is this relationship? Where is this relationship going to take you? And they will all come out sa inyong narrative doon sa statement of your relationship. No? So usually, you can do that in statutory declaration, or you can do that in the narrative way, or just making a statement. And then, of course, yung mga kaibigan nyo, they will also do a Form 888, wherein they will tell the immigration why they believe that your relationship is genuine, and how do they see you, and what's your relationship to your friends. Okay? So those are the things na dapat tandaan, ano. And then, who is going to be assessed, no? All applications na nagkiklaim ng de facto, they will be assessed. The moment you claim that you are in a de facto relationship, whether it's a student visa, whether it's a 186 or employer-nominated visa 482 or partner visa, they will be assessed based on the situations that I mentioned earlier, no? Based on your evidence. So you don't just claim we are in a de facto tas wala kang evidence, no? Then you will be misleading the department, and that can actually put you in the claw of the public interest criteria 4020, which is another provision in the law that if you make a misleading statement or incorrect information, then your visa is liable for cancellation, if not refusal in your current visa. Okay, so let's do the question and answer. So medyo mabilis lang yan, no? Hindi pala mabilis kasi 20 minutes na pala. Okay, so let's do the question and answer if you have some questions there. Okay, so I can see, tama ba ito? Alright, so let's go to Betchay Mapili. Ma'am, I'm married in the Philippines, just a written notarized agreement, and able to get married in New Zealand, divorce on process. Is my marriage in New Zealand can affect my application for partnership visa in Australia? Teka muna, medyo nagsama-sama yun. So, married ka sa Philippines, gumawa ka ng notarized agreement. So, what does notarized agreement means? Is that something legally recognized in the Philippines? Kasi sa Philippines, ang nire-recognize lang at the moment is the legal separation or annulment. And there must be a court order to actually for the marriage to be actually recognized as wala na, no? And then you are able to get married in New Zealand, divorce on process. If you were able to get married in New Zealand pero standing pa yung marriage mo sa Philippines, that's bigamous. Okay. In Australia, if it's a bigamous marriage, they don't approve the visa application. Kasi dalawa yung marriage mo. So, ginagawa nila invalid yung second marriage or yung kiniklaim mong information is not correct. No? So, ngayon, you are applying for partnership visa in Australia. Now, that partnership visa in Australia, is it the partner visa, the 820801? Or is it the New Zealand 461 family relationship visa? Because there will be two different criteria there. So, pakilinaw yon, Betchay. So maybe maganda yung sitwasyon mo, magandang pag-usapan dito if you consent na pag-usapan dito. If you give us some information, then we can just keep going and then discuss your situation. Kung gusto mo lang naman. Pero kung ayaw mo, it's fine. It's okay. Pero magandang malinawan yon kasi baka yung iba binabasa rin yung tanong mo. Gusto rin nila sigurong malinawan yon, no? Yeah, so pag divorce on process, ibig sabihin hindi pa kayo divorce. So you're not yet free. Meron ka pang impediment. So you shouldn't get married. Otherwise, the second marriage will be bigamous if not invalid. Okay? Because you're not yet free to get married. Siguro mas magandang kunin mo na lang yung pathway na de facto. So yung mga marriages mo, kahit na married ka nga doon, pero kung de facto ka, na-meet mo yung 12 months, then you can claim for that. Without really going through the routes of yung legal complexities, especially in the Philippines. Kasi yung annulment sa Philippines, I think it costs about 250,000 pesos and can go, 2 years? Minimum of 2 years bago lumabas yan, no? And then, kung maraming mga appearances at maraming mga tawag dito, yung maraming nagko-contest at maraming problema, it can go further, it can go longer, and it can go more expensive. Kasi, sa totoo lang, ang pangit ng sistema kasi sa atin, no? Yung annulment. Pag tinignan nyo yung mga grounds for annulment, ano ba yung mga grounds for annulment? Nandyan yung homosexuality, infidelity, and then yung sexually transmissible disease, and then yung psychological incapacity, yung ganon, no? ang pangit ng grounds, no? Para ka mahiwalay dun sa asawa mo, para ma-annul yung asawa mo, kailangan halungkatin mo lahat yung mga ebidensya na yun and i-prove mo na yung asawa mo dati o yung asawang iniwalayan mo are all those or any of those, no? Para makuha mo yung iyong annulment. No? Bakit ko sinasabing pangit? Kasi hahalungkatin yung past ng mga tao. And the bad thing about there is if there are children involved. Imagine your children getting through and listening to all this rubbish when you only want to separate from your partner. No? Kaya sinasabi ko pangit. And it's also causing more pains, no? Mas lalong masakit sa kanila. And sa kakahalungkat mo ng maraming problema na yun, pati yung mga pamilya mo na mga hindi na kasama do sa relationship nyo, masasangkot kasi you will be asking for testimonials, you will be asking ganito, ganito, humaba pa yung istorya. And gusto mo maghiwalay kayo, no? In Australia, it's different, no? Divorce is here. And the only thing that you need to prove in Australia is that you can't live together. No? So, hindi na pwedeng ma-repair yung relationship nyo. And if you're separated for 12 months, you are away from each other, not living together, then that's the only ground that you need to prove to the court. So, yeah, relationship repairable. That's it. Your children don't need to hear all the rubbish that happened in the relationship. No? Because you can't be together. So just, part ways, and then the court will say, okay, yeah. The only thing that it can get ugly is, of course, yung custody ng mga bata. Right? So, kasi pagka nandiyan na yung custody ng bata, pinag-usapan na, yan na. So, doon, it can get ugly. But this is about the children now. So, this is not about kung ano man yung nangyari sa relationship nyo na madidinig pa ng iba. And then second issue will be yung financial, kung paano nyo paghahatian yung mga kayamanan nyo and things like that. No? So, that is the reason why I'm saying na very ugly yung annulment proceeding and all the things involved in the annulment in the Philippines. No? Kasi ang dami-daming ipoprove. Like psychological incapacity, there are so many relationships that have been separated already for 5 years and yet hindi sila makakuha ng annulment paper. And then imagine them going back to the court and saying, my husband or my husband is psychologically incapacitated. And of course, the court will say, why? What's your evidence? And then you will have to go back to all those details. And then another person will judge whether your husband was psychologically incapacitated or something. So that's what I'm saying. So it's different. So Australian law is different from Philippine law. And most of the time, it's good in Australia. Okay, so anyway, so I don't think we have a lot of questions now for today, or did I miss something? Puro pagbati lang naman ito, no? So we will be off. So this is our last live session for this year. So we will be off from next week. So wala po tayong live session next week. Walang visa mo sagot ko next week until January. I think the first or second week of January, we're going to start doing the live again. So every Wednesday, you will see it in my Facebook page. Now, if anyone wants any help with Australian visa application, you can always contact us via email. So our email is admin@auspacvisa.com.au. And if you want to see some of our YouTube videos, if you want to learn more about Australian visa application, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is the AUSPAC Visa. And if you want to learn more, we have a website, www.auspacvisa.com.au. Now, if you want to specifically troubleshooting whatever your issues with Australian visa, you can book a consultation with me, and we can have a session. But that is not free. That is a paid consultation that you can book. Okay, may humabol na tanong from Johan. Hello po, my partner is already in Melbourne as a student. Can I declare him as my de facto partner with my student visa application? What are the requirements po? What visa are you holding, Julian? Yeah. So, at paano napunta yung partner mo sa Melbourne? Okay, sino ang may hawak ng student visa? So medyo maraming maraming tanong doon. So kung si partner mo ay nasa Melbourne na as a student, pwede mo ba siyang ma-declare na de facto partner mo? Okay. So dalawa kayong naka-student visa. Okay, okay. Now, yes, you can. You can apply or you can report change of circumstances to the immigration that your partner is here and you have to be partner, ha? So dapat ito yung sinasabi kong karaniwang nangyayari sa mga student visa no. Ang nangyayari sa kanila, separate silang nag-a-apply ng student visa. Student visa 1, student visa 2. Pero nung nasa Philippines, magkasama na sila. Pero sinabihan sila, hindi kayo pwedeng magsama. Kaya naghiwalay sila ng application. Ngayon, question is, ano yung dineclare nyo doon sa original application? Kung hindi nyo dineclare na kayo ay partner na do sa original application, now that you were given a visa, granted a visa, and you are both in Australia, parang gusto nyong, isa na lang mag-aaral, sayang yung tuition fee, isasama ko na lang siya. Don't do that. Because you will be liable for visa application, for misleading information. Hindi pwede yung ganun, bigla na lang siyang tatalon sa iyo. Total, pareho namang student visa, pero isa na lang ang mag-student visa para makatipid. Don't do that. Kasi it will be refused and you will be liable for misleading the immigration. Now, the trick there is if you really want to be together, you got to declare kailan kayo naging mag-partner, and hopefully after nung visa grant, no, doon kayo magsasabing dito kami formally na nagsama. But you have to apply for a new visa just to clear everything. Maraming na-refuse ng visa application because exactly of that. Akala nila, pareho naman kami naka-student visa, magsama na lang kami, makatipid para isa na lang. So don't do that. Don't add to the statistics of so many refusal because of that. Don't trick the immigration. If you did not declare it before, and there must be a reason why you did not declare, dahil siguro sabi ng education agent, hindi kayo pwedeng magsama kasi hindi pa nga kayo partner, or mas mahirap kung magsasama kayo. Hindi pwedeng both cakes kakainin, no? So, if you decided for that na hindi kayo magkasama sa inyong original application, you've got to stick with that. And then, kung magkasama na kayo sa bahay ngayon and you're meeting the de facto criteria, then okay, and then you lodge a new application with one as the primary student visa application and the other one as a dependent. Pero hindi pwede yung basta-basta jump at ganaan and then magsasabi kayo sa immigration. Because then there will be a misleading information there. So just be careful about that. Okay, so ma'am, can you elaborate more on the registration of relationship? Ano po ba ang requirements? Paano po makakatulong yung registration for me to stay long in Australia? Well, depends on your situation. If you're living with an Australian citizen or PR or eligible New Zealand citizen, and you're not married anywhere else around the world, not in the Philippines, then you can go to the pathway of civil relationship, which means to say you have to go to the civil registry and make an application for civil registration. Now, you have to prove who you are. Your partner needs to prove who he is, but he must have lived at least in the case of Queensland, must have lived in Queensland for at least 3 months before making an application for the registration of the relationship. Okay? So that's it. And then all the requirements for civil relationship, if you are in Queensland, you can jump to the website ng civil registry and it will tell you all the things that they need. It has the application. The application is online, and then you can just go to the civil registry to show your documents if you are required to do so. Okay, so That's it. And Betcha, if you need to talk to me, just book an appointment because I think you have a a very complex issue. Mukhang marami kang pinasukan na hindi dapat. Okay? So might as well fix that as early as possible. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big mess and you don't want yourself to be crying in the end or be in a very big headache later on. Okay, so, and that's it for us now. So I will see you next year. But before I end, let me greet you a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope all the blessings will come your way this Christmas season and sana masaya lagi ang pamilya at ang mga kaibigan. So maraming salamat po sa mga sumusuporta ng Visa Mo Sagot Ko from AUSPAC Visa, and hopefully next year magkita-kita po tayo ulit. Merry Christmas at bye. Thank you very much.